Okay, so now we're on the second part of the lesson and we're going to do some problem solving with inequalities. I have a chart here that has certain phrases that can be common for inequalities. For example, x is at least a means x is greater than or equal to a. X is no less than a means still x is greater than or equal to a. X is at most b means x is less than or equal to b, or x is no more than b is x is less than or equal to b. X is between a and b means just that. And x is between a and b inclusively means that it's equal to that. Okay, so let's look at these couple of word problems and see how we're going to go about solving them. It says define a variable, write an inequality, and solve. Before going shopping, Mel had $28. In a check, he had more than $75. What is the amount of the check Mel cashed? So I'm just going to use C to represent amount of Mel's check. Okay, before going shopping, Mel had $28. After cashing a check, he had more than $75. More than is going to mean greater than. All right, so we have the $28 that Mel had plus the amount of the check he cashed is going to be more than $75. Then we're just going to solve it in terms of C. And when we do, C is greater than $47. So what is the amount of the check Mel cashed? We know that the check is, that's a terrible, is for more than $47. Number 2, the width of a poster is 8 centimeters less than the length. The perimeter is more than 184 centimeters. If the measurements are both integers, find the minimum dimensions of the poster. Okay, so I'm going to use my typical L equals length and W equals width. And it says the width of the poster is 8 centimeters less than the length. Okay, so I'm going to write that. I'm going to say width equals L minus 8 because the length is L, that's 8. Less than means subtract. Width is, okay? The perimeter is more than 184 centimeters. So we know something about perimeter. We know twice the length plus twice the width usually equals 84, but in this case it's going to be more than 184. I'm going to take and I'm going to replace where there's a width with L minus 8. So I get 2L plus 2 times the difference of L and 8 is greater than 184. 2L plus 2L minus 16 is greater than 184. 4L minus 16 is greater than 184. I'm going to add 16. And that's going to give me 4L is greater than 200. And 4 does go in evenly to 200. And I get not equal, but greater than 50. And let me fix my greater than symbol. Okay, so what does it say? Find the minimum dimensions for the poster. Okay, so the minimum dimensions, if it has to be, did it say that they're integers? Yes. So the minimum dimensions are the length must be at least 51 centimeters. And the width, we're going to go ahead and plug the width in. We'll get, or the length in to get the width. And we get W equals 42. So we know that the minimum width would have to be 43. okay, because they said integers, greater than 50 and greater than 42. The sum of two integers is less than 80. Less than 80. All right, so I'm going to do my typical. Find the pair of such integers with the greatest sum. Okay, so I'm going to let x equal the smaller consecutive integer. And then I'm going to let x plus 1 equal the larger consecutive integer. Okay, so we get x plus 1 is less than 80, or 2x plus 1 is less than 80. I'm going to subtract 1, and I'm going to get 2x is less than 79. When I divide by 2, my x is less than 39.5. Okay, two consecutive integers. Find a pair such that the integers with the greatest sum. So they have to be less than 39.5, and it's going to be consecutive. So we know that the smaller one can be 39, and the larger is 40, and they are the largest pair. 39 and 40 are the largest pair of consecutive integers whose sum is less than 80. All right, we got that. Mike wants to rent a car for his vacation. The rental car costs $125 a week plus 15 cents a mile. How far to the nearest mile can Mike travel if he wants to spend at most? So if I go back up here to the word at most means less than or equal to. At most, less than or equal to. All right, so we can let m equal the number of miles traveled. So we already know that it costs him $125 just to rent the car plus 15 cents. We don't know how many miles, and he can't spend more than $200. Again, I want to get rid of the decimal. I'm going to wait. I'm going to do it at a different spot, I think. So I'm going to subtract 125. I'm going to get 15 hundredths m equals 75. See, so maybe here, multiply by 100 and get 15m equals 7,500. And then we can divide by 15 from there. And, I'm putting that equal sign in. I want the less than or equal in there. And then m is less than or equal to 15 goes into 75 5 times, and there's 2 zeros. So Mike can travel at most 500 miles. Okay, so this is the end of the notes for lesson 10.2 and 10.3. There's a classwork assignment today that is due by 3 o'clock. So I'd like you to work on that and submit that, and then there won't be any homework. Please feel free to reach out to me by messaging. Also, we can do virtual chatting through our Teams if you would like to do that as well. Yes, if you have any questions, contact me, and have a good rest of your day.